demon left in LA. Just a whole army of them. Now protecting the innocent.
Whoever you saw just now, did they look like they could afford to pay?
Will demand the ultimate test of courage. An all-new Angel.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Slade, the Buffyverse Revisited. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Jeremy.
I'm your host, James. And I think it's important that we all remember that a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from a maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-team.
I'd settle for the C team if I'm in real trouble.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you were in real trouble, yeah.
I'd be like, listen, I don't know where the A is. There anybody like maybe around an L? I'll take an L.
I'll take it like, I'm like, is there an N? Is there an N team? I really need some fucking help. Like, who can
need help.
I really need help. My intros in the last two episodes, literally anybody under the age of like 30 is like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Like,
Yeah.
They have no idea.
I'm a little disappointed we haven't gotten a Knight Rider intro.
There's still time, Jeremy. There's still time. Don't worry. And if you toss me, guess what? I've got a Hardcastle and McCormick one queued up. Don't worry.
Oh, I never cared for that. Never cared for it. No.
Well, that's all right.
Anyway,
there's a lot of shows that have, like, especially in the late 70s through the 80s, so many shows had like those opening, like every episode had to set the basic premise of what the show was. So don't worry. I'm likely to get to your favorite 70s or late 70s and or 80s television program. Perhaps there's an Incredible Hulk one lined up.
I expect nothing less because Incredible Hulk was one of my all-time favorite shows.
It was a good one.
Anyway, this week we will be diving into Angel Season 1, Episode 9, Hero, which is obviously a reference to werewolves.
Yeah. Is it?
Is it?
Is it? I'm not sure if
I'm not
it
sure
is
on that, but okay.
But okay, I mean, no. Okay, I guess sure. Yeah. Yes, as previously stated, we are. Well, actually, Jeremy, how are you?
I'm terrible.
Are you? I'm sorry.
Can we spend at least 20 minutes talking about my feelings?
Of course. I knew this was gonna happen one day. I've been waiting for it.
Well,
tell Papa all your problems, Jeremy.
Well, I'll start at the beginning. I was born at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
And and as I grew, I noticed one day that I had hair on my wiener.
Mm-hmm.
And it traumatized me, James.
Yeah. Is that why even now at what are you, 44?
45.
At 45 years of age, you scream, "Oh my God, what's happening?" every time you get an erection?
Yes. And I'm like, why does my belly feel funny? And then if I like reach climax, I cry.
I like how you say if you reach climax.
Yeah, if I reach climax, I cry and fart at the same time. While I'm climaxing, all three of those things are happening. And yeah, I don't know, James. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like a beast of burden. Nothing. You got nothing for me. Okay. Well,
I got nothing for you.
Listen,
I
you
think
wouldn't make a good therapist. I'm just going to throw that out.
I was just gonna say I think perhaps you're beyond my amateur help.
Oh, okay.
You probably need like a professional therapist.
Do you think the A-Team could help?
And maybe Bob Newhart.
Bob. Okay, I'll see Bob. You have his number?
That's if I thought like A-Team and Quantum Leap were like a deep dive for some of our listeners.
Yeah, nobody
that's
below 40 is going to get Bob Newhart. So
yeah. They're gonna be like, what the?
They're going to be
They're
like,
gonna be like,
Ooh.
they're gonna be like, why the hell is James telling him to get help from Professor Neutron on The Big Bang Theory?
Yeah, I've never heard of this Bob character, but
Right.
they will look into it.
All
Jane,
right.
Can you fillet us some dates and deets?
I can. I will fillet it, and then how about if I baste it?
Well, butterfly it first for me.
I'll butterfly it first. I will throw it into a piping hot cast iron skillet.
Yep.
Okay. And then I will baste it with some garlic butter.
Okay.
Okay. To a lovely. I'm guessing you're like a medium.
For steak.
For steak, yes.
Yeah, for steak. No, I'm gonna say something here that's probably gonna lose me some fans. I am a medium well guy.
Dude, so am I.
I don't fucking like pink, bloody, runny, like when you get done eating it, there's just this puddle in your plate. I'm not into that.
Right.
I'm not into that.
Yeah.
I want my shit cooked and not moving.
Yeah, I myself am a medium well guy. Like I'll take a little pink.
Just a tiny bit, just a hint.
Yeah, but yeah. Like
But
I'm like you.
These people like on Facebook, they're like, this is how you eat a steak. And it looks cooked, and then they cut it open and it still has eyes. And I'm like, no, fuck you. Fuck you and the way you eat your steak.
Yeah.
And that's the way I
feel. It's awful. Yeah. What were we talking about?
You were going to give us some dates and deets.
Oh, I wasn't I? Yes. And then we anyway, yes. We are revisiting Angel Season 1, Episode 9, the 9th episode of the series overall, Hero. Our episode director this week is Tucker Gates, and our episode credited writers are Tim Miner and Howard Gordon. Our original air date was November 30th, 1999 on the now defunct WB network. Our Nielsen rating was 3.5 million households when it first aired, ranking it 95th out of the 141 network primetime shows for the week and 3rd out of the 15 primetime shows airing on the WB for the week. Our regular cast, as always, but only for this episode, are David Boreanaz as Angel, Charisma Carpenter as Cordelia, and Glenn Quinn as Doyle. Our guest stars this week include Tony Denman as Reef, Anthony Castaro as Trask, Michelle Horn as Reyna, Lee Ehrenberg as Tiernan, Sean Gunn as Lucas, James Henriksen as Elder Lister, David Bickford as Cargo Inspector, Paul O'Brien as Randy, and Ashley Taylor as the first mate. Our episode synopsis this week reads, Angel joins Doyle's crusade to save helpless demons from the Scourge, pureblood demons who persecute those of mixed blood.
Well, mine reads, Doyle,
Angel,
and Cordelia assist a clan of mixed heritage demons targeted for extermination by a group of demons known as the Nazis. Scourge.
Yes.
Because that's exactly what they are.
Yeah, I was gonna dive.
They're not even trying to play like that's not Nazis.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that as we were going through the episode, but yeah, they're 100%.
I'm sure
Nazis.
anyone that watched this episode immediately was like, "Oh, they're Nazis."
Right. Well, unless they're conservatives, then they were like, oh, nationalists.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they're good. They're good people on both sides.
Oh, right. There's good people on both sides.
Right. I mean,
Right.
Nazis can be good guys, James.
That's what I hear.
It's like,
That's what I hear.
can they? Can they?
Right.
I'm thinking
can
the
we-
Nazi thing kind of. I mean, I don't want to be a dick, but I'm just gonna say if you're Nazi, probably cancels out anything good about you.
Probably.
I'm just going out there.
Let's just briefly mention how in the course of a week, it may have been the best week we've had in a while. Henry Kissinger died.
Yes, he did. Finally, it only took 100 years.
Right. That dude Santos got expelled from Congress.
Yes.
And what's his face? Shit, I can't remember his name now. Announced he's not going to run for re-election.
McCarthy?
No, not McCarthy.
The one you talking about, the one who was the speaker for
the one who was just the speaker.
Kevin McCarthy, I think his name is, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Kevin McCarthy. Yeah. I'm sorry, I thought you said McConnell, and I was like, yeah, no, there's no way Mitch McConnell's going to die in that seat.
Oh yeah, well, the last few public appearances he died on camera, so I'm like,
but yeah,
I don't want to get too deep into politics by any means, but can we put a rule? What's wrong with putting in a law that says once you have served 133 terms and or pass away on camera, you have to retire.
You have to retire. Yeah.
Like you can no longer feed yourself. I feel like, because what was her name? The one from California. She's now dead. She just died very recently. But
Feinstein.
Yeah, Feinstein. I'm sorry, but she should have retired 38 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
look at it's the same thing.
She was being wheeled in and out of the chambers there on a wheel and just looked like a lump. She was just like, and I'm like, is this really what we want leading our country?
Right. It's the same thing with the lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, it's bullshit. There should be no such thing as a lifetime for anything.
Right. God love her, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We wouldn't be in the position with the Supreme Court that we are right now if she had just fucking retired when Obama was still in office.
Well, probably not with Obama, because we never had control. He never had control of the Senate and the House while he was. But there were, Anyway, I don't want to make other people mad, but
Right.
Anyway. So why don't you take us into the frigid open?
We cut to LA at night.
What?
Yes.
Angels in LA.
And we hear Cordelia describing an idea for a commercial for Angel Investigation. And it's this, she's like, it's a aerial shot of downtown, skyscrapers, lights, yada, yada. And she says there's a narrator, preferably famous, maybe that bald Star Trek guy or one of the cheaper Baldwins. And she's going on. And as she's talking, we're seeing images of a woman walking down a dark street alone. And she's saying, we'll cast some beautiful young actress, maybe an up and coming starlet whose career is on the verge of taking over. And of course, when the actress is revealed, it's Cordy herself. And she gets attacked by some big thug with a knife. And her voiceovers continuing, and we see a dark figure in a long coat hidden in the shadows appear and attack the thug. And of course it's revealed that it's Angel. And he's saying, you can count on it, and you can count on me because I'm the Dark Avenger. And we cut to out of that and to Angel sitting behind his desk, looking at Cordelia, who's holding a video camera on him in her hands, and he's confused. And he's like, I'm what? And she's like, the Dark Avenger. And he's like, I'm the Dark Avenger. And she's like, I know it's perfect. And she's talking about how they can shoot it all herself, and she'll charm a uh, post-production company into editing it all for them and everything. And Angel's not having any of it. He's still clearly upset about the events of last week's episode. I Will Remember You. And he straight up gets up and leaves. And Cordy and Doyle proceed to talk about how Cordy's worried that the business is going to go belly up. Doyle's like, it'll be fine. It always is. And he kind of reminds her that, a promotional video like that might raise, vampire suspicions, not to mention the fact that they don't even have an investigator's license. And Cordelia's like, Angel's right. He's a larger than life character. What we need is like an everyday guy for this. And she tells Doyle he's perfect to be in the commercial. And he's like, no, I don't think so. And she's like, no, this isn't a negotiation. It's a necessity. She's like, our boss is in a funk, and that he's only happy when he's fighting evil. And she's like, now let's go drum up some. And Doyle says, I don't know why we need evil when we got you right here. And she's like, I heard that. And that is our cold open. Cut to intro.
Do 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 do. Okay. Where the fuck did you leave off? Okay. I don't know where you left off, bro.
When we come back from the cold open, they are filming the commercial. Cordy's filming Doyle reading her script.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we cut from the intro, and we see Doyle through the viewfinder of the video camera, and he's awkwardly going through the script that Cordelia put together.
Okay, now I got it.
Okay, go ahead, pick up.
Well, yeah, no, he's going through the script and that she's put together, and at one point he's real awkward on camera, and at one point he's like, we have really low rates, and she's like, rates, and he's like, oh, it says rats. And then she comes around the camera and kicks him in the balls. And Cordy says she's seeing him as a weasel rather than a regular guy, and she just doesn't think the customers are going to go for it. And then she mentions that she's worried about Angel, and she's like, I don't understand why he's so heartbroken, when he doesn't even have a heart. And it's like, you fucking bitch, he does have a heart, it just doesn't beat. And he's got a soul, dummy. But Doyle says he'll talk to Angel, and then Cordelia says, like, yeah, like, if we get him a costume, maybe that'll make the ad better. And Doyle's like, fuck me, and throws himself out a window. No, he goes down into Angel's dope ass apartment, his subterranean pimp lair, And Angel's working out.
Subterranean pimp lair.
It's basically what it is. It's pretty fucking pimp. He's working out down there, and and I thought it was funny. Like, I don't know if you thought this was funny, but like, when Doyle comes down, like the Angels just immediately goes, "What do you want?" And I was like, "Damn, that was like harsh." Like,
Yeah,
because he doesn't say it. He's just like, "What do you want?" It's like, damn. If I'd have been Doyle, I'd have been like, "Fucking nothing, dick. Fuck off. I'll just fuck off then." And Angel's like, he's just like, "Well, I'm just checking on you." And Angel's like, "Well, I just need some time to work through what happened with Buffy." And he's like, "She was only here for 5 minutes." And that's when Angel spills the beans about that she was actually there for a whole day and a night, and what had happened, and that he had become human, and yada yada, and about the oracles and everything. And of course, Doyle doesn't remember any of this, and but he knows Angel's not lying, so he believes him. And he's just like, "Why the fuck would you give up your mortality?" And even Angel's like, kind of wondering if he made the right decision. And but then Doyle says, "Well, no, you doing that basically proves Cordy's theory, that you're a hero." And Doyle thinks in Angel's position he would have chose, pleasure over duty and honor, but Angel believes no one can know for sure what they're going to do until if they would be a hero until that choice is put on them. And Doyle's like, "Nah, I'd still go with pleasure."
Yeah. So I'm going to interrupt you real quick because I did write this down because I kind of like the quote from Doyle. So yeah, Angel, like you said, Angel recaps everything that happened, and I will remember you. And Doyle's like, you had the one thing in your unnaturally long life, and you gave it back. And Angel he's questioning. He's like, maybe I was wrong. And Doyle's, maybe Cordelia was right about you. I couldn't do it. I don't have the strength. And like you said, Angel's like, well, you never know, until you're tested. And then Doyle says, come on, you lived and loved and lost and fought and vanquished inside a day. And I'm still trying to work up the courage to ask Cordy out for dinner. Not to mention the part about telling her that I'm half demon.
Yeah.
I like that. I just like that quote.
Oh, good for you. So he I love breaking your balls like that when you get into something.
I'm out. Fuck you.
Yep. James quit the show, everybody. James took his earbuds out. He has gotten up from, nope, maybe he's had a second. He may have had second thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. He doesn't want to give up on you, the fans.
That's right. I was just going to say, I'm only back for the fans.
Yeah, he fucking hates my ass. Angel then says that, the oracles had mentioned something about the end of days, and that he thinks, Angel Investigations might have, a role to play in that. And Doyle doesn't think it's fair that Angel not only helps the helpless, but now he has to fight the apocalypse too. He's like, what the fuck, and Angel, he doesn't see any difference. He's like, fighting the good fights, fighting the good fight. And Doyle's like, well, you fight and I'll keep score. And it's like, well, at least he's an admitted pussy.
Right.
So we cut back out to the lobby, and Doyle's recapping the truth of what happened with Buffy to Cordy. And of course, Cordelia's like, well, why didn't he take advantage of that whole temporal fold thing to buy some stocks or get the lottery numbers or something, she's not, but she is kind of pissed that he kept the whole thing secret from those two. And they start talking about Doyle's ex-wife and you know, blah blah blah, and Cordy's like, he's just about to tell Cordy that he's part demon when he has a vision, and it's people huddled inside like this near this brick building, and Cordy, of course, the first thing she says is, "Do they look like they can afford to pay?" And
Cordy.
yeah, so we cut to like I wasn't okay when this scene happened. I wasn't sure where we were or what was going on. Of course, you realize it shortly thereafter, but when it first happens, I'm like, okay, are we in like a flashback now, or are we in like Nazi Germany? Because there's like this girl, this younger kind of girl running down the street in the dark there, running down the sidewalk, and she's carrying like a container with some stuff in it. And you see shadows of these like Nazi dudes fucking, marching, behind her, chasing whatever. And then you see this demon boy grab the girl when she drops some shit and looks like she's going to get caught, and he grabs her and they hide. And these boot wearing Nazi fuckers run by. And but yeah, that scene, I was just like, where the fuck are we? What is happening? Like, you're telling me we're in the middle of, LA, and there's this giant squadron of Nazi demons just fucking marching down the road, and no one's like, hey, like, there's a bunch of fucking demons down there. Also, they're Nazis. Like, we should do something about that.
Presumably they wouldn't know they were demons, so it would very much be exactly what you said, but it would be like there's a bunch of like fucked up Nazis down there. Should we maybe be doing something about this?
They all look like burn victims, but they're Nazis, so fuck them.
Is this worrisome to anybody else? What's going on down here?
That's why I was like, are we in the ghetto, like in Poland in like the 30s or something? Like, where are we at? But we're just in modern day LA apparently, and that's just a thing that goes down and no one cares. So then Angel and Doyle head to this building that Doyle got the vision of, and it's all run down and crappy, and they come across this table that's got food on it still, that's still warm. So they're like, well, they're not far. And Angel kicks up this rug, and there's a trap door, and he lifts it, and right there's a whole bunch of fucking demons. Like, not bad guy demons, but the ones that Doyle saw in his vision. And they're trying to call, Angel's like, you're okay. You're okay. We're not going to hurt you. We're here to help you, and yada, yada.
And then he vamps out and he jumps down into the crawl space and fucking murders all of them.
See, I was going to say, and then he just lights a match and drops it down in there and slams the door shut and burns them all to death.
Yeah. No, that doesn't happen yet.
No, that doesn't happen yet. That's later.
That's what, next season that happens?
Yeah.
That is season 2, right? What I'm thinking of?
I know what you're thinking of, but I'm not going to swear it's season 2. It might be season 3.
It might be season 3. Either way.
Something
to look forward to, people.
Burn alive. No, I was just like, so he's like, when he finds him, he goes, it's okay. We're not here to hurt you. We're going to help you. And they're just immediately, all of them are immediately like, oh, okay. And you know what I mean? Like, they've been
they don't even question it
for like, who knows how long, but they're immediately just like, oh, okay, sweet, thanks.
Yeah, they don't even question him. They're just like, oh, well, all right, yeah.
Yeah, okay, please save us. It's like, well, what if he had been working with the Nazi guys? And anyway, so we find out these demons are called listers. and he tells a story about how somebody was going to promise to help them and to escape, to get to this island off of Ecuador where they could be safe and be left alone, but they got ripped off. The person, apparently took their money and fucked off. I guess they know about this island because there's others of their demon kind who are there, and it's like a good place to go. So, the two kids we saw earlier, the boy and the girl out on the streets, they come running in and talking about they were almost caught. They lost half their supplies. And the senior guy, like the leader of them, executes the boy for losing the supplies.
Fucking makes him it's like mafia style too. Like he makes him get down on his knees at the edge of that hideaway crawl space, and he just pop two right in the back, right in the base of the skull, and like the kid just slumps over into the crawl space. And
Angels watches and he's like, "Listen, he deserved it.
Right.
He lost supplies. You can't do that. You pay with your life to lose supplies."
That's right.
So
that's right.
So
it suddenly became an episode of The Sopranos.
Yeah. No, but he tells this boy, and this boy's name is Reef, which I'm like, okay. Why can't like any of these demons? Why can't they just be like Kevin?
That's racist. That's racist.
Is it?
That's racist against demons.
Oh, it's racist against. Okay.
It's racist against it. Why can't demons just have normal names? Jesus, Jeremy.
I hate you. So, but this leader tells this Reef boy that Angel is the promised one, and apparently there's some prophecy that the promised one would appear at the end of the century, which, it's 1999. Which actually the century doesn't end until 2000. But anyway, but he would appear at the end of the century to save the Listers from the Scourge. And Angel's like, whoa, I ain't no fucking promised one. And Reef, of course, has to play the part like that you've seen a million times in shows like this, where he's like, I'm not convinced. Fuck this guy. I'm storming out of here for no real reason. Which he does. And Angel's never even heard of this Scourge. So he's like, yeah. He goes over to Doyle and he's like, what's with the Scourge? And Doyle's like, I know what they are. They're death. And you're like, Doyle knows the Scourge.
Dun dun dun.
And we have a flashback, and it's Doyle in his dilapidated, crappy apartment. They don't say how long ago this was, but you're assuming a year ago, 6 months, somewhere like 6-8 months before he goes and meets Angel, finds Angel for the first time is what I'm assuming. And there's a guy in the shadows.
Again, like we talked about in last week's episode of Buffy, they very rarely ever give timelines or time frames for this. Like, we know that what you're about to talk about, the flashback. We know that this is the first time he gets a vision.
Right.
So,
and it's the vision he gets is just a porn scene, and it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's like really weird, bad, like 70s porn.
Mm-hmm.
That's his vision. And he's like, I guess I need to save a lady with a huge bush. And I guess I'll just go.
And a dude with a perm and a mustache. I don't know what's going on.
Perm.
I don't know what's going on.
So there's this guy named Lucas who's in the.
He basically has to go and rescue Mike and Carol Brady.
Right. Whilst filming a porn movie.
While they're filming a sex tape for themselves.
Yes, that later Greg finds and actually sells copies of to Peter and
Bobby.
Bobby. God, how did I draw a blank on that?
I don't know.
And the girls are just horrified and disgusted by that. And
Right. Except Jan.
Yeah, because we know Jan's a
she's a freak. She's a fucking freak.
She's a fucking freak.
Middle child,
like,
man.
Yeah, stepdad, fuck mom, fuck her hard.
Yeah.
And
middle child.
Okay, this is going way too far.
Middle child, man. She's a freak because she craves that attention. She craves that attention. That's how middle children are.
Okay. So there's this dude named Lucas who's hiding in the shadows of Doyle's apartment, and Doyle knows he's there, and he's like, "Yo, yo, yo, who you be? Why you here?" And it's a Bracken demon, which is what Doyle is, and he's asking for Doyle's help. And Doyle's just a big puss hole, and he's like, "Yo, I can't help you," and he's like, "I just found out not long ago that I was a Bracken demon," and basically he's just like, "You're on your fucking own." But this Lucas explains what the Scourge are, that they're this army of pure blood demons who hate anything of mixed blood, so they're Nazis. And but yeah, Doyle's just like, "There's nothing I can do for you. Get the fuck out." And Lucas is like, "Wow, dude, what a dick." So he leaves. And we cut back to the present, and Angel asks why no one fights back. And Doyle's like, "Oh, they do. They just get killed." And he's like, "These Scourge, man, they're fucking for real. Like, they will die for their beliefs." And Angel says it's hard to fight fanatics, and Doyle says it's impossible. And I'm like, is it? Didn't World War II happen in your timeline?
Right.
Like, it can be done.
It can be done. Hopefully you manage to do it before it escalates to like a world war.
To a world war, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I'm just saying, even in the instance of a world war, it can be done.
It can be done. I thought it would have been good if when they came back from that flashback, Angel was like completely appalled and disgusted.
He's like,
Doyle.
"Get the fuck away from me, you piece of shit."
He's just like, "Get away from me. You let those people get murdered. You
we haven't got there
piece
yet.
of shit."
Calm down. We haven't got there yet.
Sorry.
Now we cut back to the flashback, and where did I shit? I'm lost again. God damn it. Okay, here we go. The thoughts of everything get to Doyle, so he just throws himself out of a window to relieve himself of the pain. And he actually accidentally fucking skewers himself after he falls out the window. So he's like, "Oh, this is so much worse than I thought it would be." And I thought I would just hit and instantly die, but I'm fucking impaled.
I know. Right through my fucking sternum. Jesus fucking Christ, it hurts. God damn it.
It missed my heart, so it didn't kill me immediately.
How did it not hit any fucking vital organs? Jesus Christ.
I can feel literally everything. Even the nerve endings weren't damaged.
Why couldn't I have just landed on my fucking head and broke my goddamn neck? Oh my God, it hurts.
So anyway, that would be so. That's like fucking
It's like a Family Guy cutaway or something.
Yeah, that I was gonna say that, or Austin Powers, like the role that the role that Will Ferrell always played. He's like, "I seem to have fallen. I've broken nearly every bone. Wait, I'll try to get up. I've broken my last bone." Anyway, so Doyle has his first vision after this guy's left, and it's of this Lucas and the other Brackens being killed. So in the present, Doyle tells Angel that he wasn't sure if the vision was real or not, since it was the first time this had happened. So he went to find out, and he discovered all the bodies of all the Brackens, including kid Brackens. And he tells Angel that the demons need more than just one hero against the whole Scourge. And Angel's like, maybe we won't have to. If we help them escape before the Scourge find them, we won't even have to fight. And Doyle's like, God, you're so smart. Can I suck your dick?
And Angel's like, I would probably have let you before you told me that story you just did.
Before you told me how much of a piece of shit you are.
Before you told me about how you let an entire clan of your kind get brutally murdered, women and children included.
Yeah. Like, to be honest, I'm considering firing you and possibly killing you.
Right. He's like, if we're being perfectly frank here, Doyle, I am probably going to kill you. And then I will fire you. In that order.
To really drive home the point, I'll probably fuck your corpse.
And then I'll fuck Cordelia. and then I will prop
I will prop your body up in the corner.
I will prop your body up in the corner. I will prop your body up in the corner of the bedroom of my sweet underground pimp pad.
My subterranean pimp pad.
My sweet subterranean pimp pad. And I will make your dead body watch while I fuck your woman.
After
I'll have your woman!
McLeod!
McLeod! I'll have your woman!
I'm gonna have a stroke, dude. There are so many things we just referenced now that no one is gonna know what the fuck we're talking about. No one. Woo. Okay. So later on, we see a moving truck pull up outside the building, and it's literally just moving people. They're there to like help someone move out of their apartment, and they're like, "Where do we go?" And they go in, and give me a mic test there, buddy.
Hello?
Okay, sit back now.
Hello?
Now say something. No. If you get really close to it, I'm hearing just a little bit, but you work on that. I'll continue on. No, it's actually Cordelia driving this moving truck, and she gets inside and she finds the Lister demons, and she busts out a thing of like Banaka. She's like, "This is, demon repellent," and she sprays it. And then the one Lister smells and he goes, wintergreen. And
can you hear me now?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay.
Yes. So Doyle arrives and explains to Cordelia that it's cool and these are the ones that are there to help. And she pulls him aside and reminds him that Angel is about fighting evil, not helping demons. And so she's a fucking racist. She's an avowed racist.
She is.
So then Doyle is sick, and he's like, "Oh my fucking God, you're a racist!" Ugh. And he quits. He leaves. He's like, "I got to get out of here anyway before Angel kills me, rapes me, and fucks you in front of my dead body."
Right. And even though I know you're a racist now, that would still be hurtful to me.
Yes.
Because you're hot, and I still want to fuck you, even though you're a racist.
I still want to lay on top of you.
And gyrate.
And gyrate, yeah.
Until I reach climax, but you don't.
Right, because I'm a man, and that's how we operate.
Yes.
So Doyle tells her that they're not evil, that they're half human. Blah, blah. that they need to get to this freighter called the Quintessa, because that's going to take them to safety. So he basically has to convince her not to be a racist. And she even so, she's like, I never get the feeling that she's like totally on board. Like she's like, I don't know. There's still, those people.
There's still those people.
Yeah, and I'm like, is this really okay? I mean, I know it's 1999, but that wasn't that fucking long ago. Like, where I don't recall 1999 being like, it's okay. Racism's okay. It's okay. There's good people on both sides.
Yeah, racism. It's not that. It's
not that deep.
It's not that big a deal.
I don't like. I get that they were doing this. Like, the idea, I think, was to explore racism. Like, this whole episode's about racism and that kind. But my point is, I don't feel like they had a moment where, like, a moment of realization, or the come to God moment for Cordelia, where she's like, oh, wow, okay, I am being a giant piece of shit.
Right.
I understand now, and I will no longer feel this way. Like, I don't feel like they get to that moment. It's like, well, then what's the episode for?
Right. Like, then why even? I think it would have almost been better, since they didn't really have that, like, quote unquote, come to Jesus moment for Cordelia. It would have been almost better if they hadn't even written her
to be that way. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like, they should have wrote her to come in and be like, oh my God, why these people want to kill you just because you're only half demon? What pieces of shit, but no, they went with the racism card for her, and they didn't give her she didn't have her American History X moment where she realized, what an incredibly huge piece of shit she was. And,
I guess there could be an argument made that when she finds out Doyle, spoiler alert, when she finds out Doyle is half demon.
Yeah, like 10 seconds before he fucking dies.
That might be her, like, come to Jesus moment, so to speak. It's not great by any means, but there could be an argument made.
No, it's almost that. How that came across to me, and this is dead serious. The way that came across to me was where she's like, oh, you're one of them. Well, I can look past it because I like you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, an argument could be made for that too. Yeah, 100%.
It's like, that wasn't the right come to Jesus moment. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, so he sends her on ahead to get everything in order. And she wants to know who's paying for this non-carnival cruise. She's like, we're sending him on a cruise. And he's at some point, somebody could just be like, shut the fuck up, Cordelia. Shut the fuck up, and just fucking do what we're asking you to do.
Right.
Because Doyle tells her, he's like, listen, the ship's captain owes Angel money, and so this is how we're gonna, and she's like, he's not gonna collect the money, he's gonna do the, and again, you would shut the fuck up, Cordelia, and do what the fuck we're asking you to do.
Doyle should have smacked her.
You racist fucking bitch. It's like, I can deal with the Cordelia of the money hungry, uppity, stuck up Cordelia we've always known, but
this new slightly racist version is very uncomfortable.
No, this fully racist version is not cool. Like, he should be like, listen, I just found out you were an avowed racist, so just do what the fuck I'm asking you to do, and maybe we won't fucking fire you. I don't know. And instead, he's just like, please do this. And she's like, well, against my better racist judgment, I guess I will. And she's all like, are bad things coming? And he's like, really bad things are coming. So can you please fuck off and do what I asked you? Okay, I'll just be over here racisting. Let me know if you need me. So Angel talks we cut to Angel talking to the harbor master because there's got to be, you got to have documents, apparently, to, you got to have, like, I don't see how this is such a big problem. Like, why don't you just turn your boat motor on and just fuck off? Like, what's the harbor master going to do? Like, throw rocks at your ship? You come back here, you don't have documents. You know, whatever. I don't know how it works, so I could be totally wrong. But so he's telling, you know, he's basically intimidating this fucking harbor master into writing up the appropriate paperwork to say that the ship is carrying medical waste and that it should not be stopped or boarded or anything for any reason at any time. So that happens. And then back at the building, Reef has disappeared with the little girl Raina. Or I'm sorry, he has disappeared, and the little girl Raina says that he doesn't believe there's a promised one, and that he's fucked off and apparently not coming back because he didn't want to be killed with everyone else. And at which point I would have been like, fine, fucking.
Right, let him fucking go.
Yeah, I mean, he's an adult. They say that. Because they say, well, he's old enough to make his own decision. Okay, he made his decision. So sorry. We're all going to die if we don't get the fuck out of here in like 10 fucking minutes. So fuck Reef. I'm sorry. Well, of course, Doyle, the hero, has to go find Reef. And well, he gives the leader of the demons his phone and says that, you know, Cordelia will call when everything's ready, and then they can get there and get on the ship and get the fuck out. And then Doyle fucks off to go find this stupid Reef, which he does. He just finds this Reef kid. This Reef kid's just, you know, meandering.
Just putzing the fuck around.
Yeah, just meandering down the street. No worries about the Scourge, even though earlier he was, you know, hiding like it was 1930s fucking Poland and whatever. So he catches up to him and he's like, it's a bunch of back and forth of like, this trope has been done so many times in so many shows for this exact same reason. And of course he by God, he convinces him to come back. And so that's what happens there. I just don't even want to go into it because it's fucking stupid. But he convinces little dumb Reef to come back and give it a shot. That Angel is the promised one. He's gonna save everybody. Now, Jesus, send me a check.
Well, so yes and no. Like, it is a big rah-rah speech, but Doyle does tell him, he's like, I don't know if Angel's the promised one, but I know he can be counted on to save you guys.
Same thing.
So
it's just, I don't know. You know what I mean when I say this like this character, this Reef kid, and like this whole trope has been done like a million times on a million shows, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean,
and it's just like, okay, we have to have that one kid that's like disgruntled and angsty, and he puts everybody in jeopardy by not wanting to go along with the plan instead of being like, let's get the fuck out. There's these Nazi motherfuckers wanting to kill us all. Let's get the fuck out of here. No, right, I'm upset and I don't believe in and you know, whatever. So at the freighter, Cordy figures out some last minute details and is getting ready to make the confirmation call. And on their way to meet up with the other good demons, Doyle and Reef hear the Scourge approaching, and they take off. They hide inside a building, and the Scourge start destroying things, and they're getting closer and closer to where Doyle and Reef are hiding. And at which point, Doyle puts on his demon face and runs outside to be a hero and starts fighting so that Reef can get away. Angel grabs him from behind and pulls him back into the alley and just starts fucking fondling his body and shit in the dark. And Doyle's like, and then he sees this Angel and he's like, oh.
Yeah. Oh. Right. And then he's like, no.
While Angel's fondling his body, he just starts tweaking his own nipple and he's like, oh.
Right, and then he's like, no, touch me here, and he grabs Angel's hands and it's
Yeah.
right down his pants.
While he's putting some fucking chapstick on.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
So
he's like, would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
see, you knew what I was saying. You knew where I was going.
Goodbye, horses.
Horses. Do, 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 do. Do. Okie dokie. So the Scourge get there at the building where the good demons were, and luckily it's abandoned. They're gone. But Angel arrives, and he's pretending to have taken Doyle hostage, and he wants to join the Scourge because he's saying that as a vampire he hates humanity and yada yada yada. And then Doyle's pleading for his life. At which point Angel snaps his fucking neck, and Doyle drops to the ground dead as fuck. And that's not me fucking around.
Nope. And
This
that's how Doyle exits the show.
That is how Doyle exits the show. He sacrifices his own life.
Yep.
Now, really quick. Well, no,
Mhm.
I'll go a little further, and then I'll bring it up. It's the only thing in this whole episode that makes me teeter on my rating, but because it just bothers me. But anyway, so yeah, the Scourge leader guy, I guess he's the leader, decides to accept Angel's help and let him join them. And I'm like, really? That would be like the Nazis letting a Jew join, the SS. Like,
Right, like if a Jew like came up to Hitler and was like, "I hate being a Jew.
yeah,
I
I
just
hate
hate
being
it.
a Jew. I want to kill Jews." Like Hitler would be like,
I wanna-
"No, you're in the SS, brother."
Right. Like, I just want to kill other Jews. I don't like it. I hate this. I hate being a Jew." And Hitler
In fact,
was like,
I want to kill myself.
and Hitler was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Want to be in the SS?
You want
And
to
he's like, okay,
be in the SS?" And then she was like, "Yeah, sure, okay,
little bit.
a little bit."
So the good demons are boarding the freighter, and the captain is throwing a shit fit because Angel's not there yet, and Cordy's like, but he's cutting your debt in half, because she's still trying to get money out of this fucker. Instead of being like, oh, he's canceling your debt, no, she's like, he's cutting it in half. But Angel's not there, and she's like, well, we have to wait for him, and which I don't understand this either. Why do they have to wait for Angel to get there? Why can't she and Doyle, or why can't she just get off the boat, right?
And send it on its
They
fucking
go.
way.
And they go.
I don't know.
And the episode ends. But no, they must wait for Angel to get there for some reason that's never explained. Anyway, so she's like, okay, well, if you wait, because he's like, we're not waiting, we got to go. And she's like, well, if you wait, then he'll do 60% debt. And the captain's agrees to that for some reason.
Because here's just to backtrack to what you just said real quick. Because here's like, does Angel plan on he and Cordelia and Doyle like making this voyage to
this Ecuadorian island?
Right, with the Lister demons? Like, I don't.
That's the only thing that would make sense as to why he must be there.
Right, and that's the only thing in the episode that you said that like really bothers you, or is that yet to come?
No, I can actually overlook that. That's not. It's kind of silly, but it doesn't. No, I'll bring up when we get to it what really bothers me in the episode. So then one of the good demons is thanking Cordy for her help and for her, Doyle, and Angel's help, saying that, and this is where this motherfucker outs Doyle and says, well, he understands our suffering since he's half demon too. And Cordelia is like, oh, what? Yeah. And then he's like, oh, was I not supposed to say that?
Oh, was that a secret? I'm so sorry.
So
Oh my
sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean. Just forget I said anything. It's not my place.
I said half demon. I meant half pimp.
Half gay. He's half gay.
He's half gay.
Half gay. He's bisexual.
He's bisexual. That's the new term for it this day and age. Yes. Yes. You guys discuss that. Okay, I'm a little verklempt.
Verklempt.
All right, so
We're canceled.
We've been canceled since the first episode.
It's been a while since we've mentioned it, but yeah, we've canceled. We've been canceled at least 10 times just in this episode so far.
Yeah, not to mention last episode. So okay, here we go. We're ramping up on the shit that I have against this episode.
Okay.
We cut to this scene where Angel is now in full demon Nazi regalia, and his like hair is all like gelled out, like parted. He looks like Hitler, but he's also in vamp face. And he's listening to this wannabe Hitler leader guy speaking his Nazi bullshit and, you know, railing against the half breeds and all this other bullshit. It's like this rally. It's like a Nazi rally. And I'm like,
it's like a Trump rally. Yes.
Yeah. Right wing. Yeah. Whatever. But I'm like, this has got to be a time filler. Like this episode had to have ran short because this scene means absolutely nothing. It does not affect this episode or the outcome or anything in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Can we agree on that?
No, we can't. Because I think that the scene was designed for two purposes. One, just to drive home the idea, the Nazi comparison to the Scourge,
which in case it
wasn't already extremely obvious, but also it introduced us to the beacon.
Okay, no, I get that, but I'm saying we could have been introduced to this beacon thing in a much quicker, simpler way. Like this, other than the beacon, this scene does nothing. Like, how do I explain this? Like,
no, you don't have to explain it. I know what you mean.
Yeah, well, just agree with me then.
But I don't.
Okay, well, fuck you then. Anyway, let's move forward.
Because I don't. It's like you're saying that they were like, oh shit, we're running short on time. Let's cobble together this extra scene here.
No. Because what I'm saying is they film shit like this all the time in case they do find themselves like with the final edit and being like, ooh, we're 2.5 minutes shy. Let's go through the edited shit, pull something out, pop it back in, rearrange it, whatever. I'm just saying that's what it seemed like to me, because the beacon thing could have been introduced in like a minute and a half. Like this whole spiel thing it reminds me of, was it 1 minute to midnight on Highlander? When Jack is giving that big spiel to all the watchers in the tunnels, and it's like,
right,
this is so dumb. This is so dumb. Like, it's not needed. Like, we are all aware of everything that's gone on up to this point and what they're gonna do next. Like, it's almost like, hello, I am the villain of this show, and I will now explain the reasons why we are going to do the things we are going to do. I don't know. Again, this isn't my complaint though about the episode. Just something I'm bringing up.
And I will say this. Do I agree to an extent that it's a filler scene? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Do I think it was deliberately put in to like...
No, I don't mean to say that it was deliberately put in. I just meant to say like this felt like a filler scene. Like this felt like one of those scenes that you see sometimes in a show where that it was put in as filler. But I'm not saying that's the case for this scene. I'm just saying it felt that way. Like, it just felt super unnecessary. Like, it feels like something they could have cut out, but they were like, you know what? We don't have a lot of extra footage. to use to, so we'll just leave it in, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. It just seemed really.
But I don't know where else in the episode as it exists without that scene that they would have introduced the beacon, if I'm being perfectly honest.
They could have pulled up outside, like when they get to the boat, and they have that like truck thing or whatever they have that's carrying the beacon. They could have like pulled up there, and he could have been like, ready the beacon, you know, as soon as that reaches full power, it will and it shines its light, it'll eradicate everything that's got human blood in it. Boom. Done.
Okay.
30 seconds.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
But I'm just saying. So Angel, so yeah, he's at this scene. We just explained it. He's listening to the Trump rally, and we meet the beacon, and that it'll do what I just said. Anything within a quarter mile that's got human blood in it will disintegrate. Which, again, not a problem that I have with the episode, but how silly is this? Like, they just created this,
right?
And it's like, wait, why didn't demons create this 1,000 years ago and just got rid of all the humans? You know what I mean? But like, okay,
maybe they didn't have the technology to create it 1,000 years ago, Jeremy.
Okay. So the commander sends a platoon. He says, "We know where they're at because we have a fucking traitor who's come to us and told us, and it's the ship's first mate." And he's like, "We know where they're at and where they're planning to go. So, and here's your thank you for telling us." And he turns the beacon on and melts this motherfucker, who basically kind of dusts like a vampire would, is what this light kind of does. And so then he sends the platoon to go to the ship and start killing the fucking listers. At which point, Angel intercepts one of the Scourge, knocks it out, and steals its motorcycle. And Doyle and Reef arrive at the freighter, finally. And Cordy tells Doyle he looks happy, and he's like, "This guy just sucked my fucking dick." She tells him that she was worried, and then she slaps the fucking taste out of his mouth. And he's like, "What the fuck was that for?" And she's like, "It's for not telling me you were half demon, especially after we agreed we shouldn't keep secrets from each other." And he's like, "I just found out 15 minutes ago that you're a fucking racist. So it was probably good I didn't fucking tell you."
You didn't throw that on the table readily, Cordy.
Yeah.
You just kept that to yourself.
Yeah, like how many posters of Adolf do you have in your new fucking apartment that we got you, by the way? So he admits that he was afraid she would reject him, and she points out that she'd already rejected him, which I'm like, well, that is true.
That's true.
Yeah,
true. Point Cordelia.
Yeah. She adds that she works for a vampire and isn't superficial about his lineage. And she's like, "Are you going to ask me out for dinner already?" And he's like, "No, you're a fucking racist."
He's like, "No, I'm
no
not
longer interested. I'll fuck. Do you want to fuck? We can fuck."
He's like, "I'm not going to ask you out on a date. I do not want to be in a relationship with. Do you want to fuck though? You want to? You want to fuck?
Listen, I'll be honest.
I will
dump a load in you if you want to go that route.
I will dick down a racist if she's hot enough.
I will raw dog you if you're with that. I mean, I'm just saying. I won't even wrap up, Gordy. I trust you, you racist bitch.
Right.
At which point Angel arrives and announces that the freighter needs to leave. It's like, oh, it took the leader to let us all know the obvious, that the freighter should have fucked off 20 minutes ago. Because if it had, and Cordy hadn't made them wait for fucking Angel, they would already be gone. And none of this would matter.
Right.
Because the Scourge would get there and be like, "Oh, fuck.
Oh,
they're like 2 miles out to sea already."
Right. They'd be like, "Oh, well, I guess, you know what? It's still early. Maybe we could double back across town and get the other demons that we were.
Yeah, or
other half breeds.
You want to hit TGI Fridays?
We could. Wow, we could get to. Do they still have $2 margs?
Yes,
Could we?
yes, they do. I was just there.
Then
Yeah.
yeah, you know what? Let's we'll forget the other half breeds across town.
We can hit
Let's
them.
we'll get that. We'll take care of that tomorrow. Let's just
Yeah.
head over to TGI Fridays. We'll load up on the $2 margs. Maybe we'll get some nachos. You want some nachos? Want some
And
nachos?
the little jalapeno cheese poppers.
The jalapeno. Oh yeah, definitely. And then we'll just get back to doing Nazi shit tomorrow morning.
Yeah, tomorrow. We'll start tomorrow.
Yeah, sounds good.
Tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So, of course, before the ship can leave, the Scourge arrive, and the freighter heads off, and the head of the Scourge is like blasting Angel for lying, and the big fracas breaks out, and yada yada. Okay, here's where I can pause and now bring up the thing that actually bothered me in this episode. What in the French fried fuck was this whole Angel joins the Scourge thing about? Why? Why did it happen? Okay. Like, it's not like he learned something. Well, I guess he did with the whole
The beacon thing.
but he didn't know that. Like he didn't know he was going to learn some secret. You know what I mean? It's like, what did this, like, why did
Well,
you think, wait, I need to join them for about 25 minutes. That's all, just about 25 minutes. And then I can defeat them.
right.
You know, it just seemed really dumb.
So I think the impetus behind him joining was to try and get information.
Right. I get it.
So I can overlook that. As far as like the length of that joining,
Yeah.
I think that really, again, I'm gonna say I can overlook that because for the simple fact that there was a traitor amongst the group of good guys, so that escalated things
Okay.
quicker than what perhaps Angel had originally anticipated.
Like, okay, here's my point. Like, he joins them and everything. Like, had they made it where he was trying to delay them to give the freighter time to fuck off, then it totally would have made
Right.
sense. And I would have been like, oh, okay, yeah. But he never at any point attempted to delay or anything like, you know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, it almost seems like they set themselves up in this and they were like, oh shit, you know what? When this is all put together, it's going to look bad because it's only going to be in this group for like 15 minutes.
Right.
Like,
Well,
and in real, like, Buffyverse time, it's going to be like 15 minutes.
Right. Well, and especially since they, like you pointed out before, there is this whole holdup of like, we can't go till Angel gets here.
Right. And that
even
is
though
explained.
Right. Like, even though Reef is here now, like, we still can't go because
like, you
Angel's
guys can
not
go,
here.
and me and Cordy will fuck off the boat. You guys go ahead and go.
Right.
Ta-da! Day saved. Yeah. Credits.
Peace.
TGI
Right.
Fridays, baby.
Right. $2 margs, nachos,
Yeah.
jalapeno poppers,
Yeah. But so
sex on a beach shots.
yeah. But had they said, like, earlier, if Angel had just said earlier, like, Cordy, don't let the boat leave without me because I am going to ride with them to this island to make sure they get there safely. That was never said. So you're just like, why the fuck do they have to? So anyway, so putting that with the whole him joining the Nazis for 15 minutes bugged the shit out of me. So yeah, there's Angel's fighting. There's fracasing going on inside and outside the ship. Angel fracasing. Angel falls into the cargo hold where the listers are, and he kills the head Scourge guy just as the beacon's getting like moved into position. And Angel's like, everybody get out. But they can't because all the doors are being blocked by the Scourge. And Doyle asks Angel what it's going to do, and he explains that it'll kill anything in a quarter mile, anything with any human blood in it. Hey, here's a question. Would that yeah, I guess that would include Angel. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought this up because I was going to bring it up, but I was going to wait until the actual scene where
Mm.
it's Cordy and Angel and Doyle, and it's obvious that Angel is intent on,
Offing himself.
doing this. Um, I I am very confused about that because I don't know that Angel has human blood
Well,
because he doesn't drink human blood.
no, but when they say human blood, I think they just mean is there humanity inside? You know what I mean?
Okay.
And we
Okay.
learn in I think it's season either 5 or 6 that cool ass episode where in Angel where they go to another dimension and it's where he is fully his demon instead of like his humanity is removed and he's just fully his demon self.
Right. When he vamps out. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm saying yes, he absolutely has human, especially since he has a soul again. Um, he
Okay.
absolutely, but I would argue that any of the vamp because it's like that Nazi leader demon guy called him a half breed because a
Right.
vampire technically isn't. They're half human, half demon. In the Buffyverse. So yeah, I would say it's you know
Then I feel like, and it's not that big a deal. Like, it's not going to take away from my final score, but I feel like it should have been more clear then. Like,
yeah.
instead of saying it'll eradicate anything with human blood, they
Just
should have been more
humanity.
with anything that has humanity or
Yeah, I
something
agree.
like that.
To me, that's the third. There's that. The why they have to wait on Angel at the ship and Angel joining the Nazis for 15 minutes. Those are three big, I think, goof ups in this episode. Um,
Right.
so yeah. But I know I agree. I agree with you 100%. Um, so yeah, Angel's like, if I can jump over and get to it, I can turn it off by pulling the cables. But Doyle and Cordy know this will cost him his life, and Angel's gonna do it anyway. And he looks at Doyle, and Doyle says, "The good fight, yeah. Never know until you've been tested. I get that now." And Doyle hauls off and fucking hits Angel and knocks him over the rail down all the way down to the cargo hold. And then he grabs Cordy and kisses her, and there's you see that little blue light kind of go from his lips into hers, and you're like, what the fuck was that?
He does demon out first in front
Yeah,
of
he
her.
demons out first, and then he kisses her, and you see this little blue light come out of his mouth and kind of go into hers. It's spoiler alert, it's chlamydia.
It's how chlamydia is represented in the Buffyverse.
Right. And he says, too bad we'll never know if this face is something you could have learned to love. And then Angel and her are both like, Doyle, no. And he jumps over and lands on the thing and reaches up and gets a hold of the cords, and the beacon is coming alive. And he finally gets it pulled, and woof, Doyle is no more. But he did stop the beacon. And obviously Cordy and Angel are pretty grief stricken. And so they have grief sex.
Right there.
Right there on the ship in front of all the other the good
The
demons.
Lister demons. Yeah.
So by the way, how did they get off
the really fucked up part about it is they're both moaning and screaming Doyle's name.
Yeah, it's really creepy.
Yeah.
It is super creepy. How did they get off the boat?
I don't know. I don't fucking care either.
I'm just wondering because remember they couldn't get the good demons out because all the doors were blocked.
Right.
I'm like, oh shit, he stopped our beacon, unblocked the doors and let them out. They win. It's only fair.
Well, I mean, honestly, that almost has to be what happened, because all they did was shut off the beacon. There's still an army of Nazi demons there.
that are never accounted for in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
And didn't the boat also, hasn't it? It's now shoved off from the pier. It's on its way.
I don't think so. I don't think it ever made it.
Okay, all right. I didn't know. But they definitely still have an army.
Yeah, there's still like a battalion of Nazi demons.
Like they could just
around the boat.
They could just drop a few grenades in that cargo hold and
right.
Literally.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But somehow they magically get out of that, and we cut back to Angel investigations. And Angel and Cordy are silently watching the tape that Doyle made. And at one point, Doyle, he looks at the camera and he says, "Come on over to our offices and you'll see that there's still heroes in this world." And then he looks at Cordy, who's off camera, and says, "Is that it? Am I done?" And we go to credits. And we have Tier.
If you're me, you do. Probably not if you're you or some of our listeners.
No. Never was a big Doyle fan.
Yeah, well, go fuck yourself.
Okay.
Let's see. Jeremy.
Yeah.
Would you like to guess our body count this episode?
5.
I actually have it asterisked as at least 3, but definitely more due to uncounted numbers of Lucas's clan in Doyle's flashback.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, holy shit, I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah.
It's got to be like 30.
If we stop to like go frame by frame and count, it could possibly be our highest body count from either show so far.
Yeah, there was a couple of Nazi massacres in this episode. So yeah.
Our music this week: Robert J. Krall and Ellen Carlson, Hero, and as always, Christoph Beck and Robert J. Krall with our original score. Jeremy,
yes,
will you please tell me and our lovely viewership, how many SS demons do you give this episode? And your final thoughts, please.
Again, I was leaning on the 5 wagon when we started. And then after having gone through it again, I'm going to have to go 4.
Okay.
If I'm being true to myself, because those 3 things that we talked about, none of them on their own would have been enough to take a point away for me. But the 3 of them combined, I gotta give them a demerit. I gotta do it. They were naughty. The writing was naughty. The writing was fucking excellent, except where it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, except where it seemed like they were like, oh, let's just, and then they were back in Angel investigations. And so let's just forget about the army of demons and everything else. Okay? Sound good? All right, good. So, I'm gonna knock it a point, but it's still a fucking fantastic episode. I would definitely call it a must watch. I mean, God, it's Doyle's exit. And to be honest, I remember watching this live, when it first aired, and I thought, he's not going to stay dead. There's no fucking way, because at that time, the fan base loved Doyle.
Yeah.
And I know how much he was loved. And I was like, there is no fucking way. Like, he might stay dead even for, like, say, a whole season, but he'll come back. He's going to fucking come back. And he never does. He's never really, I shouldn't say he's not mentioned. He is mentioned a couple times in these first couple of seasons. But other than that, he's never, it's just, bye, Doyle. And that's just it. And there's no big swan song or anything. It's just, bye.
Yeah.
And that's it. So, yeah. But it is a good episode, and at least he does get a good heroic, hero's death. Absorbs all the light into himself and gets fucking nuked, which had to hurt like a bitch. So yeah, that's I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna give it a 4. But still, great episode, very good episode. James,
Yes, sir.
How many murderings of Doyle and his body being raped would you give this episode?
I am going to give this 5 Doyle being murdered and raped.
We are so canceled.
We are so canceled. Listen, like I've got the same 3 issues with it that you do. I'm a little more willing to gloss over them.
You're more lenient than I am.
I am, but also I very much revisited this episode in the vein of the first time I watched it all those years ago. Because much like yourself, I remember watching this episode when it originally aired. So I was very much able to put myself back in that mindset. And I definitely rated it from that viewpoint. And Doyle, like, here's the thing. You've got that scene with Doyle and Angel and Cordy up there, and Angel's not gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, Angel's not gonna die.
Right. And Cordy ain't about to be no hero.
And right. But you also, like you said, you don't expect that Doyle's gonna die. He's one of the leads. So even up to the point where Doyle slugs Angel and he falls down into the lower cargo bay, like, it was shocking, but you're still like, something's gonna happen. Like, and then it doesn't. And fucking Doyle's dead. And you're kind of like, my mindset was similar to yours. I was like, this isn't gonna last. Like, this isn't, there's something's gonna happen. But it doesn't. And it's such a bold move for a show in its infancy, no less, to do something like this.
Not even fully through its first season.
Right.
Yeah.
And I talked about this in City of, like, Angel not saving the girl in that episode, like Tina getting straight up murdered. Like, to me, this is on par with that. Like, you don't expect your hero not to save the girl in a show like this. And you don't expect one of your 3 main leads to die 9 episodes into the first season of your fledgling show. Like, it was unheard of back then. Nowadays, you've got, fucking Stark getting fucking beheaded 3 episodes into Game of Thrones or whatever it was.
No, it was the end of the first season.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, they'll kill a motherfucker off nowadays just for that momentary fucking, like, oh,
right, right.
But back then it was not done.
It was not done very often, and these 2 shows, and I've said it before, you and I have had, not arguments about it, but we disagree a little bit.
We've had fist fights.
We've fucked each other up a couple times over it, but regardless, but these 2 shows, and in my opinion, more so Angel than Buffy, really, like, set the groundwork for that kind of thing.
Yeah, they were pretty fearless.
So yeah, I mean, there were those 3 things, but ultimately, to me, they're like nitpicky things that I'm willing to get over. I think the writing in this episode was phenomenal. Sad to say, with it being his last episode, I think this was Glenn Quinn's best performance out of his run on the show.
I think the last few episodes, he was really finding his character, like was
Right.
getting more like real. Okay, this is okay, you know.
Right. And it's sad in a way that it had already been decided that he had to leave the show
Yeah,
um, because of his personal, you know, stuff. Um, because like yourself, I do feel like, you know, he was kind of hitting his stride. And I
Mhm.
think part of that may have been like he knew the end was coming, and maybe he might have thought he would be able to save himself, if that makes sense,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know. Um, but unfortunately, the decision had already been made, and you know what's to come was what's to come.
And
Um,
unfortunately, you know, for anybody that doesn't know, less than 3 years later, the actor Glenn Quinn did die.
yes,
Uh,
um,
I believe an overdose.
right, as a direct result of the circumstances that got him removed from the show early on.
Yeah, he had from my understanding, I believe it was a heroin. He had a heroin addiction.
But uh yeah, so the writing is phenomenal for this episode. The acting, I think, is some of the best, you know, we've gotten to date from our primaries. And you know, I said this in the lead up to I Will Remember You. I really feel like I Will Remember You, Hero, and next week's episode, Parting Gifts, um really uh is the are the three episodes that are the turning point for this show.
Yeah,
Like these three episodes combined really shift not tonally the show, but but the quality of the show, so
yeah.
to speak. Um,
Well, especially next
c-
week's next, not next week's, but the next Buffy or the next Angel episode because of
right,
who's introduced and becomes a regular.
right. So yeah, I think, you know, I think these three episodes, I Will Remember You, Hero, and Parting Gifts, probably the best episodes of the season so far.
Yeah,
Um, but also, like I said, very much uh, um, setting setting the standard for the show going forward. It's like I said, it's very much the turning point of the quality of this show, in my opinion. So, but yeah, it's a 5, and that's all I have to say about that.
yeah. I want to, you know, I want to say one last thing about it, and we'll be done. Um, I remember, like we said, when this episode aired, uh, the first time, and this was a shock to everybody. Nobody saw this coming. Like none of the
Oh
fans
no,
knew this was coming, or I mean, this was just like a holy fuck moment. Like, because you know there weren't. Yes, there was the internet back then, but it was the internet in its infancy, and there weren't huge leaks and spoilers and shit like there are these days for everything. So this was when this happened. I remember looking at the person I was watching it with, and we were both just like, "Holy shit! They just killed off a main what?" And that's why
yeah,
we were like, no, this will never let. No, they're gonna do something. They're gonna go to a demon or the oracles or something and be like, no, you know, you bring him back or whatever. And but no, it doesn't happen. But yeah, I just wanted to impress of how shocking this was when it happened. It was like, damn.
oh yeah, because like you said, this was like obviously the internet was a thing and whatnot, but like spoilers for shows and leaks and stuff weren't nearly as readily available
Oh
or,
no,
or
it was
common as they are
very
now.
very rare.
Right.
because you didn't
Right.
have Reddits and you didn't have social media and you didn't have YouTube and all that. It wasn't really a thing. It didn't happen.
Right.
If it did, you just had to be lucky and happened to be in this IRC channel with someone who happened to be a fucking production assistant on the, you know what I mean? It
Right.
just didn't happen. So
Right.
nobody saw this coming. It wasn't foreshadowed or like in the advertisements leading up to this episode. It wasn't like, you must tune in this week. You ain't going to believe what happened. It was just,
Right.
it just seemed like it was going to be another Angel episode and then boom, dead. You're like,
Because 100% in today's television landscape, the preview, for this episode in today's landscape would have definitely been like,
An Angel Investigations loses one of their own.
yeah, like,
I mean, honestly,
changes forever. Yeah.
right. Try not to spit on your equipment, okay,
Yeah,
dude?
I kind of did.
It's disgusting. It's
Kinda did.
disgusting.
Kind of did.
But yeah, I mean, that just didn't happen. Yeah, and it was.
And when it did, you're just slack jawed. You're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not like, we've talked about this before. Buffy's death at the end of season 5.
Yeah.
Was spoiled.
Yeah.
But I mean, everyone knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Sadly, her resurrection at the beginning of season 6 was also spoiled.
Well, of course. It's like, are we going to have a season 6? Okay, then we know Buffy's coming back.
Right. So, but at the time, it was also, we also knew that Buffy was getting canceled at the end of season 5.
Well, we didn't know it. It was rumored.
Right. And then it got picked up by UPN, and UPN's whole big thing was like, Buffy lives. And we're talking like months before the finale of season 5 even aired.
Yeah.
So it's like the
So
whole
it fucked
Buffy
everything up, yeah.
Yeah, fucked everything up. Like the whole Buffy Lives campaign definitely ruined the whole, like, fuck, Buffy just died.
Well, they should have never, like, I've never agreed with killing off your main lead, unless you're going to leave them dead.
Right.
Otherwise, I've never agreed with it because I'm like, it's over. Like comic books, it's so bad in the comic book world. I think every main character in comic books has been killed like 30 times, and it never it's like, okay, oh no, he's dead. Oh. So I don't agree with that unless you're gonna kill the motherfucker off and stick with it like they do with Doyle.
Right. But we'll talk more about this obviously next season. But I'm of the mind that Buffy should have ended with season 5 with very, very little exception beyond that. But we can talk about that more next season.
I do enjoy some season 6 and 7 though. So.
I do too.
I ain't mad at it.
Right. But anyway, Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
How about if once again we turn things topsy-turvy and you tell everyone where they can find us on the interwebs?
Okay, well, BuffyRevisited.com. They'll give you a link to just about fucking everything. Or us on Facebook, which is what is it? Slade Podcast. There's a link to on at BuffyRevisited.com.
Yeah, just go to BuffyRevisited.com and find wherever you want to go from there, because our Facebook link
lead you to the next thing. The only thing I think isn't linked anywhere. No, you linked it on Facebook. Is the merch shop.
The merch shop, yep.
Which is printify.buffyrevisited.me. And that's just merch for you guys. We don't make any money from it. It's just if you want something from the show, have at it. But yeah, that BuffyRevisited@gmail.com is our email address where you can hit us up and, tell us your thoughts. If you don't feel comfortable, talking on Facebook, or you don't have Facebook, which I don't blame you, or what have you, and you just want to email us your thoughts and prayers. That
We
would be
need them, clearly.
Yeah, that would be fine there.
We talked about Angel killing and raping Doyle and then making his dead body watch while...
Have sweet, passionate love with Cordelia.
Right. We definitely need help. We definitely need help.
But yeah, we're easy. We're easy to find. It's not difficult to find us. So just use one of those avenues, and you will find us. And we will 63% of the time respond.
We will always respond. We will always respond.
Well, no. James will always respond.
I will always respond.
Yes.
Whatever it is. Reminder, our monthly listener, viewer, mail extravaganza episode will be dropping shortly. We're guesstimating probably on Christmas. It'll drop on the 25th.
Look at the gift we're giving our fans. We're dropping a podcast on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Fuck presents and food. You're getting an episode of Slade the Buffyverse Revisited on Christmas.
On Christmas. And not just any episode. Of Buffy or Angel. Viewer, listener, mail extravaganza. And for those who may have forgotten, that is when one of you lucky people gets to phone in or Skype in and partake in the discussion with myself and Jeremy. And the lucky son of a bitch that gets to do it this time is none other than the I can't even think of any ways to describe her.
The incomparable.
The
one and only.
The wonderful Darlene.
Who I barely know her, just a little bit. Yeah,
we've exchanged emails. We've talked some on Messenger, so I'm quite familiar with her. Yeah, see, I know her pretty well. I
barely know her.
Yeah. She's good people. But I
hope to get to know her better with this episode.
Yeah, she's good people. You'll like her. You'll definitely like her.
Okay. So anyway, with all that being said, thanks.
I'm sorry. I'm honestly sorry that it couldn't work out that we could record while she was there visiting. Honestly.
Yeah. She was just too busy. She had a lot of things that she wanted, because she brought one of her sons with her. One who's actually never been to Indiana. He was born in Florida he was born here, but they moved to Florida when he was like a year old, I want to say. So he has no memories of here. And she wanted to take him around and show him different things and our old stomping grounds and just things like that. And so she was busy each day, and I just didn't want to interfere with that. And I thought, she only had she was only here like 4.5 days.
Right.
And if she was going to be here like 2 weeks or something, we could have worked something out. But
sure. Let me ask you. So since he was born in Indiana and then they moved to Florida, had you seen him at all?
I had not. I had not seen him since he was whatever it was,
since
a year
he was
old.
Born. Wow, that's crazy.
He's now like 6'1", 6'2".
Wow.
Because their father is like 6'4". So they're all big boys.
That's crazy. And I understand there's a lot of families out there like that, but to me it's mind-boggling, because I literally, until almost a year ago, my sister and brother-in-law and I shared a house. Yeah. So my nieces and nephews, I was with them since the day they were born. And even now we live no more than 5 minutes away from each other. Yeah. So I get that a lot of family situation is like yours, but it boggles my mind to think about it, because I've always had such easy access to my nieces and nephews.
Well, I did too. Her 3 oldest boys, I was with them from basically birth until when they moved to Florida in 2006, and but the one she brought with her, and then his older brother, those two were only infants when they moved away, and so I didn't have. We have like no memories together at all. So,
Wow.
so yeah, it was wild.
Another question. She didn't bring any of the fascism with her, did she?
Oh, from Floridia.
Yeah.
Oh no. She
Okay.
is.
Okay.
She
Good.
is very
Good.
much. She is very much
Good.
in our camp.
Well, I just worry that no, I know she is. Like I said,
That it might
we've
jump
talked.
on her and like
Right.
attach to her.
We've talked, so I know what camp she falls in. But sometimes I worry
I
that
think
like
maybe
it's gonna
I think
attach itself.
when they go through TSA, it gets they get
Okay.
it.
Okay.
You know.
Because and I worry because like Indiana and Illinois, obviously they're close proximity, and if it somehow makes its way there, then it might get over here, and
Like COVID did, yeah.
like COVID, yeah, I just worry about those kinds of things.
It'll get on you. It'll get on you. Okay. Everybody, thank you for joining us this week. I had a good time, and I'm glad to be back in the swing of things. Next week will be Buffy season 4, episode 10, Hush. Which, spoiler alert, one of the greatest episodes ever.
And I wonder how hard it's going to be to talk about.
We'll find out.
It's going to be I guess maybe not, because we really don't do a whole lot of dialogue stuff.
No, only if it's something that's just either hilarious or really kind of important to the overall plot. So yeah, I don't think it'll be.
Yeah, so it probably won't be that hard. But anyway, yeah,
we'll actually mime it and act it out.
We will.
We will white face, and we will be like, and whoa, and we're there. All right. Well, with all that being said, thanks for joining us. I've been one of your hosts. I'm Jeremy.
Your other host, James.
Ta-ta.